Hello, welcome back, beautiful Silver Surfers. We're just gonna throw a name out there.
I love it.
Silver
Silver Surf.
Surfers. Yeah, how do you feel about that?
I like it because you kept the silver part, but then there's no blue part.
We'll figure it out. Silver
Silver
Surfers.
surfers would be the people who listen who are more fans of me than you.
I
You know,
like that. Okay, okay.
and,
The
and I
Silver
guess blue
Surfers.
surfers would be.
Blue Stars or something, or I don't know.
Nah, no, let's not
No,
create
it's
that
not. It's not that
competition.
catchy. No, no, no. Well, it's a pleasure to have you
Um,
guys back here. Oh, what? You don't? You think there is a competition?
well, I mean, there's no competition because there's no doubt. So
Ah, right. There's no doubt that I'm the better one in the podcast. But yeah, we don't need to
sure,
talk
sure.
about that just yet. Well,
You said it, Silver Surfers.
you're right. You're right. You win that one. I'll give you that one. I did give it to you because I'm the better one, the bigger person. But anyway, lovely to have you. Lovely to have you guys back here for another wonderful episode of Silver Blue. And today we're going to be talking about something very special, which is the power of the mind.
Yes.
Power of the mind. Very, very deep topic. And we're just going to go ahead and spit some knowledge on you guys real quick. I did not mean that in a disgusting way.
Yeah, that sounds a bit weird.
Anyway, so what do you feel about the power of the mind?
The power of the mind. What a topic. And the reality is that everything, we process everything through our mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you start thinking how important is to first start paying attention on how your mind works, and then from there realize that you have control over it and you can start to changing how you see life through your mind, through what you focus on, where is your attention. And I love this topic because it's very related with meditation,
Mm-hmm.
which is a topic I love. I have a whole podcast with so many meditations, all in Spanish, but you can go check it out, Metaconciencia.
Yes.
And so I've been like in this world of meditating and like these things for a few years, and what I realized is that meditation is all about taking control of where your attention is, right? Well, first realizing where it is,
Mm-hmm.
and then being able to change that to whatever we decide to focus on. And that's like a muscle. Attention is like a muscle. You
Mm.
can, the more you practice having that attention, then the easier it's gonna get. But at the very beginning, that is one thing that happens when you start meditating. It just gets overwhelming and you get all this resistance because the mind is like, oh no, 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 no. Someone is trying to take control. And like when your mind has taken control for like since you were born,
Mm.
there's a part of you who's like, no, 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 hold on,
Absolutely.
And so you get all kind of resistance, like you fall asleep, you feel anxious, you all kind of things happen when you start meditating. And that's why you can start different ways, but I guess that would be a different episode. But basically, meditation, it's for me key to start taking understanding where your mind is and where your attention is, and from there you can start learning so much about you, and then basically creating your reality through that. what
Absolutely.
what do you feel, Blue? Does that
First
make
of all,
sense?
yeah, that does make sense. And I want to point out what you just said about creating your reality. That is one of the most powerful things the mind can do. And so I'm gonna use a reference point and talk about dreams.
I love dreams.
Dreams are so powerful, and it's something that I think we don't really pay much attention to. If you think about it, when you go to sleep, your mind is really at work, and it goes to places that you don't consciously think of, at least at first, until maybe you learn how to lucid dream. But that's a whole nother section.
Another episode, or maybe even another podcast itself, lucid
Oof.
dreaming.
Wow. Yeah, definitely could be. Um, so yeah, the power of dreams is like it's a whole nother thing. Like your mind goes into different realities, and the whole time you're not really conscious of the fact that you're dreaming. It still seems real to you. But imagine if you were able to start, for example, dream journaling. What happens? The most key points that happen in dreams you can remember. Maybe the feelings you felt at different times, the emotions, maybe the smell of things, the feeling, or certain things that you might have learned in a dream. And I'm going to go back to this example I gave once before, I think. But I once had a dream. Wow, this is crazy. But I once had a dream that I did a backflip and I was performing. I was in front of a lot of people. I remember hitting the flip. It was like a part of some grand performance I was doing. I'm not sure if I was dancing or singing, but I was performing for a big crowd. And as soon as I landed, I looked up and cameras were flashing. There were cheers everywhere, a big audience just clapping and cheering and happy. And I woke up. At the time, I didn't know how to do a backflip at all. But I felt like I did. Like after feeling it in the dream, it was just like, wow, like I remember what that feels like. So the next morning I woke up, went down to the grass field, and I just remembered, like I took some time to remember what it felt like in my dream. And again, in the dream, you don't know that it's a completely different realm you're in, or that is your imagination at its finest. But it feels real. Your mind can't really tell the difference, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
There's
So
studies that show how lucid dreaming, so like how, being able to control your dreams can help like athletes, for example, to like
yeah,
learn movements in the dream and then put them into practice in reality, and you can actually like train your muscle memory in dreams. It's crazy.
exactly that part. That is a powerful, powerful thing you just said. To be able to train your muscle memory while you dream lucidly. And that's pretty much what happened. Like I wasn't training myself, consciously in the dream, but when I woke up the next day, I did what I could to meditate and remember what I felt, and tried to mimic the feeling in real time. And eventually, it just snapped right into place. And that's a
Okay.
really powerful thing that your mind can do. So imagine if we only use as humans less than 10% of our brain's full capacity. Just imagine what the full capacity would be, what you would be able to do. Like, I mean, it's really crazy when you think about only 10% of our brains, and you can do so many things from manifesting, from building things, create things. I mean, we really have the potential to actually be limitless.
We are limitless. We're
Absolutely.
limitless if we believe we are. The only
Belief.
thing that keeps us not being limitless is the belief that we're not.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, yeah, I feel like a key point to take into account, or like to understand this topic of the power of the mind, is the attention. So, like, where do
Hmm.
you focus your attention, the importance of where you aim your attention, right? So like um it's a choice in life to focus on, for example, whatever is going well in the present moment, or whatever you don't like about the present moment. You can focus on the past also two different ways. You can focus on all the things that happened that you regret, or that you feel like sad about, or you can focus on all the things you learned from those challenging experiences, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's two perspectives, same reality, but two different perspectives of how you can focus. And same with the future. You can focus on all the things you want to achieve, all the dreams you have, all those things that like gets you like passionate and gives you energy to keep going. Or you can focus on all the things that could go wrong, right? All the, well, fears and all the things that you wouldn't like to happen, and then that would create like anxiety and stress. It's crazy because 90% of the fears that our mind makes never happen.
That is wild.
Never. That's crazy. And the thing is that it never happens, but still, your mind doesn't understand the difference between something hypothetical and something that actually happened. So, for your
Mm.
mind, the fear of losing your job is causing the same amount of stress, the same amount of cortisol released, which is the stress hormone, than
Wow.
if you actually lose your job. So when I read this, I was like, wow, that means we are in control of 90% of our emotional state. 10% is reality, is what actually happens. Things happen, and some things, that we don't want happen. But 90% of what is causing us stress is things that never happen, and we're in control of that. And we're in control of changing that attention and starting like training our brain to like not spend that much time thinking about all the things that could go wrong, and instead start focusing on all the things that we do want in our life. What do you want? If you don't want to lose your job, what do you want? Maybe you
Mm.
want have a great relationship with your boss, or you want to be the boss, or I don't know, whatever you want. Focus on what you want.
So, first, you mentioned something that I definitely want to break down into something that will open the eyes of every listener watching right now. But if you can control 90% of your emotional state, in turn, changing your reality, I want to break that down really quick. We're going to look at the word emotion. Emotion. E, energy, motion. Energy and motion. So, like you said, if you have the fear of losing your job, then you're releasing that hormone already. And what could be happening in turn, right, is because your energy is there constantly and you're focusing on, oh man, I just don't want to lose my job. You slowly start to embody that. You slowly start to maybe feel more anxious while you're working and your boss is looking at it, and maybe you're in a job where it's like you can't display these feelings too often because maybe in this job you're not supposed to show signs of doubt and everything because maybe it's harder to sell the product or whatever, but because you have that fear, you're slowly starting to embody that. You're slowly starting to put off a vibe because that is the energy that is in motion and in turn being fed out into the universe. So your mind is causing your reality to shift without you even noticing it, right? That's a
Mm.
powerful, powerful thing. So if you were to take control of the energy that you decide to put into motion, if you decide, well, I'm going to become the manager, and eventually I'm going to become the boss of this entire operation. And you live on that, you work on that, you breathe and embody it. You let that energy move from your mind into reality. You write about it.
Mm-hmm.
Your beliefs are another powerful thing about the mind. What you choose to believe changes what you feel. It changes how you act, and man, it's so deep. Honestly, like Jesus,
We're breaking down the science of manifestation.
absolutely, like the whole, and that's another thing
I
that the
love it.
mind is able to do, like break down the science. That's
Mm-hmm.
insane. But yeah, what do you feel about
Yeah,
that?
I I was just thinking how many times we blame our mind, like, oh, I can't stop thinking, or I get all these thoughts, and I just get anxious and stressed, and just and reality is that our mind is amazing. She does all, well, she, because it's la mente in Spanish, it does all these great things for us, um, and just it's constantly working, so we can like be safe,
Mm.
be happy, have whatever we want. It's crazy whenever, like, our mind is constantly looking for solutions to the questions we ask.
Woo!
Whatever question we have, our mind is constantly um, looking for solutions. That's why it's so important to know what to ask and what questions you want to focus on, because whatever you focus on, that's how your mind is just going to constantly 24/7 be trying to find ways to get there. So
Oh
like,
yes. Damn, that's
that's why it's so important to focus on what you want instead of what you don't want. Because when you focus on what you want, your mind is just gonna, it's not about what, it's about how. How can we get there? And so you're gonna go through your day and things are gonna happen. And then whenever your mind sees an opportunity, it's gonna be like, hey, we wanted this, so maybe this helps for this. So it's just about, that's why the most important part is setting your goals and setting what you really want, because your mind is going to do the rest.
mm, absolutely, absolutely. That makes me want to ask a question, right? And it's also because of something else you mentioned. But we were just breaking down, like you said, the science of manifestation.
Mm-hmm.
So what I want to ask is, what tips would you give for manifesting, right? But through the power of your mind, specifically. Like, what are some things you would say to trick your mind into manifesting exactly what you want to have?
Okay. Yeah. So basically, I remembered I didn't make my point before, which was, um, our mind is an incredible tool, and we should be grateful for everything that our mind does. It's
Mm-hmm.
just about, it's like your arm. It's an incredible tool that you have, but it wouldn't make sense for your arm to have whole control of you, or for you to feel like you're only your arm, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
the same with the mind. It's not. It's an incredible tool, but it's a tool. Like, you are in control of your mind. It doesn't make sense to think that you're only your mind, that you're only your thoughts.
Right.
Your thoughts are just tools for you to use them. But it's really useful to do this exercise of like taking some distance and understanding it's not you, it's just your
Yeah.
mind
That you are not your
trying to find
thoughts, you are
ways.
not your emotions, you are not your
Yeah,
feelings. They're just things
yeah,
that pass. Mm-hmm.
exactly. Which is, so basically, the mind is an incredible tool. We just can't let the mind take control of our whole being.
Right.
That said, tips for manifesting through the power of the mind. I think um, it's very important to focus on what language you're using.
Mm.
What words are you using in your daily life? What's the story you tell yourself, and what's the story you tell other people about yourself.
Mm.
So things like, I'm very good at this, or I'm horrible at this. This, like, I'm horrible, I'm bad at this, reframe it to, I'm learning to do this, or I haven't dedicated enough time to do this, or like find other ways of saying that, because every time you're saying you're not good at this, that's creating a limiting belief, and the more you say it, the more you believe it, and the more the whole world believes it. And you
Exactly.
make it, and it's true at the end of the day, it's true.
Mm-hmm.
But it could be, it could be completely other thing, if you gave you the chance. So be very careful to the story you tell about yourself. It's good to be humble,
Yeah.
but not to like start saying all these things that are not true. That are just, those things are just limiting you.
I want to add something to that really quickly,
Okay.
because it popped in. So that is another powerful, powerful statement. There is the power of I am. I am is so, it's like, it's, oof, super magnetic. What you choose to say, I am, if you say, I am sad, I am, happy, I am worthy, I am rich, you're constantly telling yourself these things and becoming it. Just like you said, you start to believe it, the world starts to believe it, and then it becomes true. So, what you tell yourself, that language that you speak, if you wake up every day and you have affirmations. I used to do this. I need to get back to it. But I used to wake up every day and write down these affirmations of what I believed I was, who I believed I was becoming. And it would be things like, okay, I woke up. I am strong. I am healthy. I am active. I am motivated. I am. And just all things that would create a positive aura around me. All things that I felt that I resonated with, even if I didn't feel it immediately. It was things I wanted to feel. I am wealthy. I am cared for. I am loved. All things. As I would write those affirmations down, literally over the course of like a few weeks, I would slowly, not even slowly actually, it happened pretty quick. I started to see in my daily life and daily conversations with other people, they were saying these things back to me. It wasn't things that I was saying out loud. I would write them down. But when people would look at me and say, wow, you are just brilliant, you're magical, I'm like, I wrote that. But like, the world started to believe it. And without even noticing, I was starting to become all these things: confident, driven, motivated, happy, successful. It all became real. And then to have the world remind me when I walked outside of the house, it was just like, okay, well, yeah, this is real. And it motivates you to keep going. So that's one tip actually that I would do and give is
You
practice
can
the
ask a
power of I
question and
am.
answer the question on yourself. you,
Literally.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And it's so true. Like, I think positive affirmations are one of the keys for manifesting whatever you want to create in your life. And it came from this same principle that we're talking about, changing your focus from what you
Absolutely.
don't want to what you want. What do you want? If you don't want to feel sad, tired, unhealthy, what do you want? You want to feel happy, with energy, healthy. So focus on those, and then every time you say I am healthy, you're creating this image in your mind. And again, your mind is going to be like, okay, we're that person, so how do we make sure we do things during the day to make sure we're that person, to make
Mm,
sure that identity correlates to reality.
absolutely. My dear Sylvia, let's do something really quickly.
Okay.
Let's play a game.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I would like for us to Name one thing, the first thing that comes to mind. Let's see who can get more out. That's going to be our game. A quick little friendly competition. But
Between silver surfers and blue surfers.
and sure, it could be blue surfers. Nah, we gotta come up with a name. I still feel like BluJays is what I have to call my folks. But I don't know.
Oh.
We'll figure something out. So, name one powerful aspect of the mind and then give a reason. Or actually, one powerful aspect of the mind and then one way you could use it to manifest. You got me?
Okay.
I'll start.
Okay.
Okay, I'll start with an example. We're gonna say,
What's the price?
ooh, good question. Um,
I only play if there's a price.
okay. The prize can be a free guided meditation. I don't know. We'll think about it. What do you think the prize should be? What's your standard?
um, I don't know. A mini point.
A mini point. Okay, I'll think about that for you. I'll think of something.
Yeah. Okay. No, I'm joking. Let's play.
All right. Aspect number one, imagination. The way to use imagination to manifest would be to, I would say, wake up every morning and imagine your dream life, like without any judgment, any limits. Imagine it and then maybe write down the most exciting part of everything you imagined.
Great. Well, my first one would be language and
Mm-hmm.
focusing on the language you use, and focus on what you want instead of what you don't want. And things like, and when I realized it, like I realized we do it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you say like be careful, like don't get dirty or don't fall, or
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Get
I'm
dirty.
trying to find
I feel
examples.
you.
But like every time, like with a kid, I was thinking with a kid, okay,
Mm-hmm.
like when you're like don't fall, or yeah, basically you're all the time saying the kid. Usually what we do is like don't do this, don't do this, the other thing. And what you're doing is creating the what are you doing? You're creating the image in that kid's mind, like of falling, of creating a mess,
Mm.
or whatever you're trying not him not to do. Instead, try to make that kid think about what he wants, like, so
Mm-hmm.
like it sounds a bit weird, but like stay clean or
Okay.
or so like when you tell someone focus on what you want instead of what you don't want, like try to picture in the other person's mind the image of what you want instead of what you don't
Mm.
want.
I like that. I like that.
Language.
Okay, I like that a lot. Mm. My next one is going to be, I'm gonna say I'm gonna say act or acting, right? This doesn't have to be something you're great at or anything, but for fun. Act out who you are and what you want to be, or act out scenarios that you would like to be real. And there's nothing like crazy about it. Like if you want to wake up one day and just no matter where you're living, act like you're living in let's say, a mansion or a beach house or wherever you want to be living. Act as if. That's what I'm going to say. Act as if. Um, so let's say maybe you're not confident, right? But by yourself, you go to your mirror and you act like the most confident person you've ever met in your entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Walk up to yourself, hey, how you doing today? Yeah, chat yourself up and act as if you're that person that is confident.
Mm-hmm.
Until you get so used to it that it becomes who you are. Power of the mind. That's my second one.
Okay. So we have imagination, we have language, we have act like as if.
Mm-hmm.
I would say use your subconscious mind like to your favor. So like
That
a
was
bit of
sexy. I like that one. Okay.
so a bit of what we were introducing earlier, right? Like one yeah, like set the things you want, set the goals you want,
Mm-hmm.
and let your unconscious mind do the rest.
Oof.
So yeah, basically like accept whatever things you want in your life and then meditate to it. I also recently I read that, or I heard that it's very useful while you're falling asleep. Think about what you want your next day to be like,
Mm.
because that's, you know, when you're falling asleep is the closer you get to your subconscious mind. So that's like getting your mind ready for the next day. Do everything that is possible to make sure that thing that you have, that you want your day to look like, the next day will be like that.
Nice. Very nice. I love it.
So yeah, I guess use this kind of little tricks so to use your subconscious mind in your favor and not against you.
That's perfect. I think that's what this quote unquote game is, just finding tips and tricks and sharing how to pull these things out of your powerful mind. So I'm going to kind of go off of what you just said a little bit. And
If you copy, you
I'm
lose.
not copying, I'm just better than you. I'm just kidding. So the thing I'm going to say is dream journaling. Once you dream, as soon as you wake up, try to remember the most important things. Try to remember the things that stood out to you the most in your subconscious journey that you were maybe not fully present in, but whatever clicks, noises, visuals, colors, feelings, write it down in the morning. Anything you can remember. And try to find a message in the things that you did remember. Try to find the subconscious message that, like, why did I dream that? What is it trying to tell me? That's my tip.
I love it, and I'm gonna give one tip for that, because I there was a time when I tried it and it was just like whenever you wake up, I don't know, it was very difficult for me to get the notebook and write with a pen. And what I realized, for me it was very useful to start changing. So I wanted to get rid of what looking at my phone and like seeing all these messages. Just write when I wake up, right? Because it's what I used to do and it was horrible. I'm so happy I stopped doing that. But what helped me changing that was like the night before, setting the phone with like the airplane mode.
Mm-hmm.
And then so the next morning I don't have the messages, and then instead of there I go to notes, or right now I have an app that is like some kind of lucid dream app, and there I write my dreams. So for me, because I already had the habit of looking at my phone just when I wake up, I changed that, and instead of looking at my at the messages, I started looking at my phone, but for writing my dreams, and
Mm,
it actually helps a lot.
absolutely. Absolutely. That's good.
So
What's
the next
yours?
thing, the next thing, I think I would say meditate and use meditation to understand how your mind works, because mm, you can learn so much about yourself through meditation, because you'll understand how your mind gets into loops. And that's another thing that is super interesting. I don't remember the exact percentage, but it's also something like that, that 99% of our thoughts are thoughts that we already had.
Mm,
Only 1% of the thoughts we have during our days are actually something new. So
absolutely. Yeah, that's wow. Whew, that's
that's
crazy.
crazy, because it's just the same thoughts over and over that come. And it's interesting to spend some time meditating and understand, because when you meditate, you kind of like, again, take distance, and you can pay attention on what things repeat and what things, and for example, what thoughts are linked with other thoughts. So when you start thinking about this thing, then that it links with this other thought and this other thought, and maybe things that you didn't even realize were related in your mind. You start understanding how your mind works. There's this idea of the monkey mind, that we our mind is like a monkey just jumping from one place to another, like crazy.
Yeah,
So meditation can help you so much, understanding how your mind works, what things you're relating in different ways that you wouldn't even think it was possible, or like so it's just, you're gonna learn so much about yourself. And then once you know that, once that's when you can start changing it. It's not
fire.
until
Yeah,
you realize what is going on that you can actually do something about it.
definitely. Okay, that's a good one. Yeah. Um, I'm going to say utilize frequencies, sound frequencies. And the reason I'm going to say this is because, for example, if you go to sleep or if you maybe are, doing something or meditating even, or, doing something in the day where you can allow yourself to listen to something, right? Utilize the power of different frequencies. Certain sounds help you to access different parts of your brain and open up different sides of your brain that, may be asleep. um, I wish I could give you guys. There's certain things I think like 4,000 hertz or something. Like I'll look it up and maybe we'll bring that in another episode. But there are many different frequencies that will allow you to open up different sides of your brain, and especially works when you're going to sleep or meditating. But these different frequencies will allow you to go into different flow states. I really wish I could explain it better, but I will in another episode. So utilize the power of frequencies. um, there's plenty that you could find on YouTube. Just look up, like for example, you could type in frequency of love. You go to sleep and you'll hear different sounds that will help you to attract love into your life while you sleep.
I would like to see my
Mm-hmm.
even though you might not believe it sometimes for the things that I say, I grew up with this scientific perspective of life.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a part of me when I hear these things that is like, I would like to understand the science behind this,
Yeah, yeah,
like, I'm not like saying it's not like that, but I would like to understand how that's possible, and like
yeah.
how frequencies are related with different things. And I think it's super interesting, and I love to know more. I think we need to bring an expert or
We
something about it.
definitely do. When we get special
They
guests
can
on these
explain.
episodes, yeah, definitely. We need that.
Mm-mm-mm.
Because I still don't
Yes.
understand it, but I know that it has actually worked for me before. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
remember I played a frequency once to attract more money. Um, I remember the color of the screen was like a green chakra or something. And I would play it when I went to sleep, and I was getting dollars, yo. Money was flowing through me. It was
Why
crazy.
don't you do that more often?
Yeah, I just, you're right. Like, the book. I'm definitely gonna start doing that again. I'm glad that it came to me because wow, I guess life got in the way and sheesh.
Definitely. But again, it's also the power of the mind. Whatever you believe, that it is what it is.
mm,
So if you believe, if you believe something works for some other thing,
mm-hmm.
it's, it's way more probably
Yeah,
uh,
probable.
that it, yeah, probable
Mm-hmm.
that it actually happens.
Yeah.
It's just, our mind is it's able to do that. Same as like healing.
Oh yeah.
Like your mind is so powerful with that. So like, also I think that's an important part, and we should mention that in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
um Mind and health is completely related.
Literally something I really was gonna say actually too. I'm so glad you said because like there's positives to this whole your powerful mind, but also like even diseases. There are people
Mm,
that diagnose themselves with things like cancer or also even cure themselves based on simply the power of the mind.
that
Continuously
is so
telling myself,
crazy.
I am healed, I am healed. It's like when you speak to yourself, your body is reacting. Just for example, if you say, I hate you, your body, you might like, for example, if I say that to someone, which I don't, but if I were to say, oh, I hate
You're
you.
so cute.
If I were to say it, I kind of would feel it like in my stomach. It's like my body hears the words, reacts to the words, and you can feel that. If you're telling yourself, oh, I'm sick, I have a headache, or I don't feel good, it's like your body hears it, resonates, and confirms. And then the more you repeat it, the more sick you're going to feel. But I've had times, I'm glad I have such beautiful and powerful women in my life. My mother, my grandmother, they would tell me, like, okay, don't say that. You're getting better. You're feeling better. And I would reset, okay, yeah, I guess. But I'd start saying that, okay, yeah, I'm getting better. And literally, I'd be feeling perfectly fine within a few hours. Like, it's crazy. But what you speak on, like that, the mind is powerful when it comes to health. So, yeah, back to you, darling.
Well, yeah, it was I don't know how we ended up here, but basically so important, the mind
Healthy
for
reasons.
curing, for health,
Yeah.
curing things. Yeah. I have a good one
Oh, let's
for
hear it. Let's
next,
hear it.
which is use your physiology. So like the
Mm.
way your body is in space.
Ooh.
It's so important. Like, just do this experiment. Just open your chest and just look up and just stay there for a second and see what comes, what feelings come, what kind of like emotions, thoughts even. And now just like curve yourself, like,
Ooh.
and just like, just do the movement as when you are like afraid, and just feel it. Feel how you feel, the emotions that come, the thoughts.
That is crazy, dude.
Do you see the difference?
Yes.
Just how different it is. So every time in life, it's just like that. It's just like things are gonna happen, and then things that make us excited and feel powerful, we're just gonna naturally open up. And
Yeah.
whenever we're afraid, we're just gonna
Naturally
close up,
closing.
right? So it's very important in those moments when you realize you're getting afraid, anxious, and you start like going down, just consciously open up.
Mm.
There's this posture that it's like, I don't know what it's called, like the, you know, when you picture a superhero, they're like with like
Superhero
open
pose.
chest and like kind of like their hands in their
Hips.
caderas,
Mm-hmm.
hips. So that posture, it is scientifically proved that stay there for 1 2 minutes just gives you, it just change your day, it just changes the mood where
Your
you know, the mood, the
demeanor.
emotions that are
Yeah.
inside you. So just consciously just pay attention to your body, and whenever you're like anxious, also you can do this if you have to do things like speaking in public or
Oh yeah.
perform,
Mm-hmm.
or whenever there's something that is making you a bit anxious, just do that. Or there's this trick, you know, when you speak, when you go to like speaking in public, like coaching, they say, you know, like just before the the perform, just go to the bathroom and just open up and just put your arms up for a few seconds, a few minutes, and then it changes how you feel. So like basically, um physiology is really really related with our emotions, so it's also important to focus on that part. And just whenever you want to change the mood because you're anxious and happy, whatever, focus on physiology, the language you're using, and where your focus is, where is your attention. These three things are called la triada del estado, so like the three things that are gonna um, influence how you feel, in what state you are.
I'm sorry. Could you please say that one more time in your language again? What's
La
it called?
triada del estado.
Uh,
La triada del estado. Yeah, I don't know what the name in English.
I
La
just wanted
triada
to
del
hear it just
estado.
like that. I'm good now. Mm,
Okay.
that's beautiful. Very well done. I love that you brought the physical into it, and I'm gonna feed off of that as well. I'm gonna say my tip would be to take great care of your temple. Be mindful, since we are talking about the power of the mind. Be mindful of what you feed yourself, of how you take care of your body. I'm gonna say this: there's no problem with, eating meat or eating, junk food or whatever, but you like what you like. You have your reasons, right? But I'm gonna say this, and I mean, I eat everything. I'm not gonna lie, right? But what I'm gonna say is, when I eat meat, when I eat chicken, when I eat steak or whatever, I'm more tired. The energy is heavier, right? The frequency of meat is much lower than the frequency of vegetables or fruits, for example, right? Fruits are alive when you eat them, not like alive to where they move and talk or whatever, but they have a higher frequency than something that is dead, right? Something that has perished and probably died in fear for its life.
Mm-hmm.
So, the more that you feed your temple things like vegetables, natural juices, water, you're constantly getting higher levels of energy. That's why I mean, if you're a vegetarian or a vegetarian or a vegan, you notice that their energy levels are unmatched most times, and they're most likely active. Like, I've seen it. I'm not a vegetarian. I kind of wish I was though. But
I think, yeah, well, I'm gonna say I think nutrition is a very personal thing, and what works for some people doesn't work for
Right.
others. So I wouldn't like to generalize, but
Right.
yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely.
I love that you come back with those. Like, you always have the, well, it could be this, it works for you.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, as you say, I love this expression that you say, whatever floats your boat, right?
Whatever
So
floats your
like,
boat.
yeah,
Yeah.
just experiment with food and see which
Absolutely.
food gives you energy and which food actually puts you down, right? So like, and
Absolutely.
then just from your, because every person is different, it might be different in your case, but yeah, I love that idea of like, food is, everything. We're food, we're what we eat, so just make sure,
Hmm.
just pay close attention to what you eat. Yeah.
Absolutely. So nutrition and taking care of your temple, your body that houses the spirit and the mind. Definitely.
I love it. Nice.
Yeah. How you feeling?
Okay, I have a I have many one
Yeah,
many
there's a
more.
lot that come to mind.
Okay, I'm gonna say another one,
Okay.
which, I mean, it has to come. It's time. The sexual energy. And
Yes.
and so sexual energy is the power of creation. So sexual energy is so powerful that we can create a baby, a whole
An
person,
entire being with
an
another
entire
mind and
being
soul. Yeah.
with that. So you can use that energy for so many things, to manifest so many things. And when you start like looking at that from that perspective, you realize there's so many things, you can use it so many ways. And you probably, Jay, you probably can talk a lot about
I
this.
could go deep
Um,
about this one.
but basically, just pay close attention to your sexual energy and use it to manifest the life you want.
Definitely. If your sexual energy is your creative energy, which it is, use that to create life for yourself. Like, use that energy, harness it, let it course through your body. There's so many things. We're going to have an entire episode on that. But that was a beautiful tip. Using your sexual energy to manifest and to create peace of mind and create a space and an aura around yourself that you can use to your benefit. It's one of the most powerful things. It's one of the most powerful energies. Like, you came here to this planet due to somebody
True.
else's strong energy and love and desire and all these emotions, and boom, here you are, living and breathing and talking and thinking. Like, it's a huge one. I'm so glad you said that.
How do you feel about this game? I feel like it's about time to start closing
I
up.
think so too, and I think that was a good one to leave off on as well. I hope you guys got some great tips from us today on the power of the mind. Make sure to leave
So we
a.
both won,
I guess we both won, did we? Hold on,
I
we
guess.
weren't keeping track or anything.
No, I mean, we did one and one. I've been
Hmm.
keeping track. I've been writing everything. Uh,
Okay.
I'm gonna summarize the ones that we said,
Let's get it.
and then we close. But yeah, I think because there was not enough time for one of us to run out of things, we both
Yeah,
won, I guess.
definitely.
So we said imagination,
Hmm.
language,
Hmm.
acting as if,
Right.
the power of subconscious mind, dream journaling, meditate, utilize sound frequencies,
Hmm.
physiology, nutrition, what you eat, and sexual energy.
So that was 9 of them or 10? I think I just lost count.
10, I think. Yeah, because it was one and one, one and one.
Perfect.
10. Yeah, that's perfect.
Look at that. Nice. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Make sure not only that you heard these tips, but definitely try and utilize them and put them into practice. You know, the ones that resonated with you, take those into your
Mm,
next day, your next week, and just watch how much
yeah.
your life changes.
Just choose one or two that really resonated with you today and just put that or them into practice for the next week, and then you can
Absolutely.
focus on the next one. But you don't need to change, you don't need to try to do all the 10 of them
Yeah.
this week because you're gonna get crazy. Just choose one, two, three, and just go with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it was a blessing to have you guys back here. We had a great time, and we love you guys so, so much. Make sure to come back for the next episode. Don't know what we're going to talk about, but you'll know when you know. So, peace, love, and
Something
positivity.
super interesting and useful in your spiritual life, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
We love you.
Los quiero.